We begin in the West Bank city of Jenin, where 3 Palestinians were killed during intense clashes with the IDF after a raid. Now, the IDF operating in Jenin said they arrested 3 Palestinian suspects. And during the operation, shots were fired at the soldiers after they entered the city, and heavy gunfire could be heard in videos published on social media. A Palestinian ambulance was also caught in the crossfire there, with video showing a shattered windshield. Photos of the 3 killed were quickly surfaced on social media and were later shared by Israel's army radio. But no IDF soldiers were injured in this raid. Let's bring in I-24 News correspondent Jonathan Regev joining us live in studio. Jonathan, Operation Breaking Wave still underway. The IDF having these nightly raids in the West Bank. Talk to us about these deaths, mixed reporting over who they were in Palestinian media. Some of them saying only 2 of these individuals were gunmen, and the third just a casualty, a guy on his way to work. So talk to us about those killed.
Yes, if there's the only thing that both sides agree on is the fact that 3 people were killed. Israel says all 3 were militants. Palestinian reports say only 2 were militants, and another man was a civilian one. Still waiting for confirmation regarding that. Once the IDF comes in very large forces, any crossfire begins. Of course, anyone coming in the middle could be killed, militant or not. This could be the case this time. Nightly raids in the West Bank. We see them practically every night and almost always in these areas, Jenin and Nablus, always the northern part of the West Bank. Israel doing as much as it can to avoid a major military offensive such as the one seen exactly 20 years ago, Operation Protective Shield back then. How do you, on the one hand, thwart terrorism as much as possible on one hand, but prevent or avoid a large-scale military operation? By nightly raids again and again and again. Most of the time, it ends with arrests and that's it. But many times, it ends with it involves clashes and fighting with Palestinian militants, and this is the case. The militants, we should say, are coming out and fighting the army. They're expecting the army incursions every night, especially in those very dense areas of Jenin and the old city of Nablus, as we saw the night before. This is something that has been going on for months now and will continue at least for the weeks to come.
And let's talk about these. There were a lot injured in these raids. 2022 has been the deadliest year for Palestinians in almost 10 years. Also the deadliest year for Israelis. Is there any sort of information from the IDF on how long they will have this operation that is just resulting in what seems to be continuous death almost every night? I
don't think there's any decision as to how long, as to if this will, when or if this will end. This is an ongoing operation. I don't think it has an end date. And let's remember, both Israel and the Palestinian Authority are in a transition period. A new government is set to take office sometime soon, maybe in the coming days, in Israel, with militant figures, at least on paper, militant figures taking position. Are we going to see any change once that happens in the military, in the Israeli policy? My guess is no. The Israeli policy for the past few months is quite an offensive one coming into the West Bank. Benjamin Netanyahu, the designated prime minister, is known not to like military adventures, and if this is an ongoing military operation, which is most of the time very successful, I would guess Benjamin Netanyahu would opt to go that way, even if some of his ministers would ask for a stronger operation. I don't see Netanyahu going there. Same could be said perhaps for the Palestinian Authority, a period of transition which is already beginning. I don't think the Palestinians are waiting for Mahmoud Abbas to be gone. It will happen sooner rather than later, but that transition period is already here, and the effects are seen on the ground.